Hi friends, I'm teacher Shelby and this is Conversa, your place to learn, practice, and actually speak English with confidence. Today we're learning one of the most useful grammar topics in English, modal verbs. What does that mean? Well, if you want to say things like, I can help you, or you should study more, or you must be careful, or I might go later, guess what? All of these examples have modal verbs. This video is for you. So I'm going to explain what modal verbs are, how to use them in an affirmative and a negative sentence. And at the end, we'll do a conversation activity together using all of them. Let's go. First up, so important, what are modal verbs? What does that even mean? Well, modal verbs are like helper verbs and they come before the main verb in the sentence and they actually can change the meaning of it. So they can show things like ability or advice or obligation, even possibility, permission, or necessity. But let me share an important grammar rule with you before we start. After a modal verb, we always use the base form of the verb. This is another formula. I love formulas for English. So we have the subject, we have the modal verb, and we always use the base form. Let me share a couple quick examples so you get an idea. Like, I can go. The subject is I, the modal verb is can, and the verb in the base form, the main verb is go. I can go. Or she should study. Where's the subject? The subject is she. What about the modal verb? It's should, and then the main verb is study in the base form. Here, one more example. They must leave. Can you find all three parts? Where's the subject? They, modal verb, must, and our main verb, our base form verb, leave. They must leave. So it's always the subject, the modal, and the base verb. This is super important. I have 6 modal verbs to share with you today. They're the most common ones. Let's start with can and can't. So we use can for ability or possibility or informal permission. So in the affirmative, we say, I can swim, or she can speak Spanish, or we can meet tomorrow. Look, even though the subject changes, the modal doesn't change and the main verb, it doesn't change either. Only the subject changes. Now, if you want to say something in the negative, you use the word not. This is very common in English to say something as a negation or negative. So I say, I cannot drive. I cannot, but it's more common in English that we use a contraction. We love contractions here in America, at least. So we say cannot. The contraction is can't. I can't. I can't drive. Or he can't come tonight. He's working. Or they can't hear you. They can't. So remember, can, able to, something is possible. It's an ability that someone has, and can't. Not able to, not possible, maybe an ability that someone doesn't have. Let me share really quick the pronunciation, the difference. It's so close, okay? Can, can't. Do you hear the difference? Can, can't. Try it with me. Can, can't. That T at the very end is so soft, but it's there and it means cannot. Can, can't. We go with modal number 2 is should or shouldn't. Let's talk about it. We use should for advice. You want to give advice or give a tip or a recommendation. We use should. For the affirmative, we say you should drink more water. That's a tip. It's advice. You should drink more water. Or he should call his mom. He should call his mom. Or we should leave early. We should leave early. I'm tired. Now, of course, we use not with the negative. You should not stay up so late. Can you guess the contraction? We combine should and not to make shouldn't. Shouldn't. You shouldn't stay up so late. Or she shouldn't worry too much. Or they shouldn't eat so much sugar. So should means something is a good idea. It's advice. It's positive. It's a recommendation. Should. And shouldn't means it's not a good idea. Maybe don't do it. Here's your pronunciation practice. Should, shouldn't. Do you hear the difference? Should, shouldn't. Try it with me one more time. Should, shouldn't. Here we are with modal number 3. It's must or mustn't. This one's a little more formal. Let me share it with you. We use must for a strong obligation or something that is an important rule, or maybe even a strong necessity, something that it's an obligation. You have to do it. It is necessary. It's almost like a rule you have to follow. So we say must, okay? The affirmative. You must wear a seatbelt. You must. It's the law. You must wear a seatbelt. Or students must complete the test to pass the class. They must. There is no other option. They are obligated to do it. Or you must finish your work today. You must. There is no other option. It's something you have to do. Now, the negative, of course, we use not. You must not smoke in here. You must not. And of course, our contraction is mustn't. You mustn't smoke in here. Although this sounds very formal and I don't use it very often, it shows a very strong, like a rule that you must follow. Something you mustn't do. We mustn't be rude. Or he mustn't touch that. Again, mustn't means that it's something you do not do this. It is prohibited. And must means it's something that is absolutely necessary. You're obligated to do it. Must, mustn't. Must, mustn't. One more time. Must, mustn't. Again, this is very strong language and it's a little formal. We don't use it every day, day to day in conversation, but it's a good modal verb for you to know. Halfway, 3 modals down, 3 more to go, and this one is more common. It's actually the more common version of must and mustn't. It's have to and don't have to. So this is very important because students confuse this all the time. We use have to for something that is also something like an obligation or a necessity like must, but it's a little more informal and like a little less strong. Okay? It's not a complete rule or law. It's a little less than that, and it's more common in conversation. Here's some examples. The affirmative, we say, I have to work tomorrow. I have to work tomorrow. I mean, I could call out if I was sick, so it's not the law. It's not a rule, but it is a necessity. It's something I have to do. It's an obligation that I have. Again, like must, but a little less. She has to wake up early. She has to wake up early. Or we have to study for the test. We have to study. Of course, there's always an option that we don't study. So it's not the law, but it's something that we have to do. All right, negative, we use not. And I say, I do not have to. Or the contraction is, I don't have to. So this one's a little different, this negative. I don't have to because we use do and not. I don't have to. I don't have to go to work today. Or he doesn't have to cook dinner. Or they don't have to wear uniforms. So if you know about do and does, we use do with the first person, the second person, like I, you, we, and they, but we use does with the third person, and it applies here as well. So I say, I do not. We do not, or we don't have to, or they don't have to, but he doesn't have to, or she doesn't have to. So remember the difference? That must, mustn't, it's very formal, but have to or don't have to, it's a little more informal and you can use it in conversation. Stick with me for two more modal verbs. You can do it. We have might and might not. So we use might when something is possible, but it's undecided. It's not certain yet, okay? So I can say, I might go to the party. I might. I haven't decided. Or she might call later. She might. I don't know. Or it might rain tomorrow. The chances are 50-50. It might rain. Now, again, we use not and we say, I might not. I might not go. And guess what? I can't think of a contraction, a combination for might and not. I don't think it exists. I might not go. Can you believe it that there's no contraction? It's a miracle. He might not understand, or they might not arrive on time. There's a lot of traffic. So remember, might is a maybe yes, and might not is a maybe no. Let's try the pronunciation. Might, might not. I might not. We've arrived at our final modal verb, and it's could or couldn't. Very important. Could or couldn't. So we use this in different situations. It could be a past ability that you had, or maybe a polite suggestion, kind of like should, or it could show a possibility of something like can. So could can mean many things. Here are some examples. I could swim when I was 5. This is a past ability I had when I was younger. Or we could try a new restaurant. It's a polite suggestion with friends or acquaintances. We could try it. Or it could be true. That could be true. It's a possibility that it is true. Now let me share the negative. Could plus not. And of course here we have a contraction, couldn't. I couldn't sleep last night. Or she couldn't find her keys. Or they couldn't come to class. They couldn't. They're sick. So look at or listen to pronunciation with me. Could, couldn't. Could, couldn't. One more time. Could, couldn't. There we go. 6 modals. Let's review and have a little conversation together. Review before we chat. Here are our 6 modal verbs we learned, right? Can, can't. This is ability, permission, possibility. Should, shouldn't. This is advice or recommendations. Must, mustn't. Remember, a strong rule, a law, very formal. Have to or don't have to or doesn't have to. It depends on the subject. This is a necessity, something that you need to do or you're obligated to do, but a little less strong than must. It's more informal. Might, might not. This shares a possibility. It's uncertain. And could, couldn't. This is past ability, a suggestion, or even a possibility. Now let's practice using these modal verbs in English conversation, real conversation. I'm going to ask you 10 questions. You pause the video and answer out loud, or even write your answer if you want to. The first question is, what is something you can do very well? What is something you can do very well? For me, I can bake bread very well. I'm good at it. Number 2, what is something you can't do? What is something you can't do? I can't dance. I don't have much rhythm. Question 3, what is something people should do every day? What is something people should do every day? I think people should drink more water. They should. Number 4, what is something people shouldn't do before bed? Before they go to sleep, what is something people shouldn't do before bed? Maybe people shouldn't drink too much coffee or drink caffeine, right? Before bed. They shouldn't do that. Number 5, what is one rule at your job or your school or in your home you must follow? What is one rule at your job, in your school, or your home that you must follow? For me, for work, I must be on time for my English classes. I must be on time. Question 6. What is something you have to do this week? What is something you have to do this week? This week, I have to teach English on Saturday. I have to teach English on the weekend. Number 7, what is something you don't have to do this weekend? What is something you don't have to do this weekend? I don't have to work on Sunday. I do have to work on Saturday, but I don't have to work on Sunday. Question 8. What is something you might do this year? What is something you might do this year? I might travel. I might travel. I really want to visit Spain this year, so I might travel to Spain. Question 9, what is something you might not do this year? Maybe no. What is something you might not do? I might not buy a car. I might not buy a new car. And our final question, what is something you could do this weekend? It's a possibility. What is something you could do this weekend? This weekend I could work in my garden because the weather is so nice. It's like spring. I could work in my garden. What about you? All right, we did it. Today we learned some of the most useful modal verbs in English. And of course, must, it's not as useful, but it is necessary because you may see it in more formal English language. If this video helped you, please write a comment using one of the modal verbs. Or for bonus practice, write 6 comments, write one sentence with each of them. That would be amazing practice for you today. If you want more grammar lessons like this, of course, don't forget, like, subscribe, share this video with a friend who's learning English. Check out my grammar lesson from last week, and I hope you enjoy. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye!